All right, I think we're
Oh,
recording now.
yeah.
All right. Hello, Mandy. How are you?
Hey, Jason. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. All right, you're my first guest on the show. How does that feel?
It's great. I'm glad to be here. This is my first interview also, so we'll learn together.
All right. Sounds like a good idea. All right, just tell us. Oh, I'm making my screen shake. Tell us a little bit about what you do
Yeah,
as a
so
freelancer.
I'm a copywriter and marketing strategist. So I help brands basically solidify their message, figure out their target audience, who they need to communicate with, and then find effective ways to communicate with them. So I do a lot of website copy. That's my main focus. I also do email marketing and social media management. So those are kind of my big offers.
Okay. Uh, you say marketing strategist. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Uh, would you mind walking us through a little bit of what that looks like?
Sure. So when I start with a new client, I will go through and kind of get an understanding of what their business is and what their goals are. And then we'll come up with a plan of how to meet their goals with their digital marketing assets. So usually this is through for their website. But so I'll come in and I'll do research. I'll ask them lots of questions. So we have about an hour
Right.
interview to start. So I really get a good feel of like what's going on in their business, how are they reaching clients, what do their clients say about them, or their customers, what do they say about them, um, and who are they hoping to reach, that kind of thing. And then we come up with a plan for how to do that. And I always start with a messaging document. That's kind of the first thing that I do with a client. And so we break down their key differentiators. So, like what sets them apart from the other people in their space who are offering the same service, because for most people, someone else is also offering what you offer. So, what makes you unique and different? Why might someone want to choose you? And then we go through and decide what kind of brand personality you want to have. So, like, what kinds of words do you like to use? Some people are more friendly and upbeat, and some people like to be edgy. And so you kind of have to decide, like, what do you want your brand to sound like online? And it can work for print assets too, for hard copy items, but I'm usually working in the digital space. Um, so we'll work on what we want to sound like. We make sure we've got our elevator pitch. So make sure that that's solidified, that they could tell someone in 30 seconds or less exactly what they do, who they serve, and how they do it. We work on let's see. So I also do customer research. So I'll spend some time going through their existing customers and either doing interviews or reading reviews online, but just to understand what the things are that their already paying customers are saying. So we can say more of those things, because if you are happy with this service and you're clearly communicating what you like about it, that will resonate with somebody else who's looking for this same kind of service. So do a lot of research behind the scenes before we start writing any copy. But so then we work on finalizing that messaging document, making sure we have um, all the customers' pain points that we solve, how we solve them, and then so it's very clear that they could take this document, they could give it to their social media manager, they could give it to people in their marketing department. So it's just a great way to have all of your messaging in one spot so that other people can go and use it. So then once we do the messaging document, Usually the next step is to work on a website. So work on website copy. And so basically we just take the important things that we've learned from doing the messaging document and put that into, your outward facing website that's doing all your selling for you 24/7. Your website is always there um, for anyone to find. And so it really has to be, it has to grab them right away, and it
Right.
has to walk them through the whole sales process. So anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my process, and it's a lot of fun, and I love helping companies really solidify what they offer, what makes them unique, and really start to gain more of the kinds of clients that they want to have. So
Fascinating. I was actually wanting to ask you as you were telling me that. Have you ever read the book Gap Selling?
no, I haven't.
It's really good. I recommend it. But like your process, it very much reminds me of what he talks about in that book during the what he calls the discovery process.
Yes.
But it's getting into as much detail as possible of finding out your prospective client, finding out everything about their business model, everything that every little detail you can so that you can completely fine tune what you offer to your client
Mhm.
so that you can solve their unique problems that they may have in their business.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really cool as you were walking through that process. I was like, ah, yeah, that's like that gap selling because what it is you find your prospective clients current state and where they
Mhm.
want to go that through
Mhm.
that. And you can even find problems doing that they probably didn't even know they had to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you take them from where they are to get to where they want to go.
Mhm.
And you can like that document you talked about creating, you create basically like a custom roadmap specifically for your client. So I
Mhm.
thought that was really fascinating as you were walking through that. I was just like,
Good.
has she read has she read that book?
I have
But
not, but I'll have to put it on my list. I'm always looking for a good book. So,
yes, it's really good, and that's a really good process to have too. So
mhm.
that's awesome. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next question here. How did you get started with your business? Like, what's your story, if you mind? I know we talked about it a little bit, but of course, share it for the rest of the people watching.
Absolutely. So a long time ago, was a high school Spanish teacher. I loved being a teacher, but it was also extremely draining for me as an introvert. It was a really tough job. Um, and I stayed home with my kids. When my son was born, I stayed home with him. And then I had another son. And so I was a stay-at-home parent for about 10 years. And so I really kind of lost that all the experience that I had, it was still there, but I would have had to do a lot to enter the classroom again. And I was just looking for something else that I could do as far as a career went that would work with my sort of busy parenting schedule. So I have always enjoyed writing ever since I was small. When I was in third grade, I was entered into a young author contest and won, and that was, something that I just always thought, oh, maybe one day I'll write a book, or maybe one day I'll be a writer. So as I was going through that, trying to figure out what I was going to do in this next phase of like starting a new career after being a stay-at-home parent, I thought, well, why don't I try writing? Let's see how that goes. And I never really gained any ground with like writing a novel, or I never could. It was too much to wrap my head around. But I did stumble into a course for people who were wanting to, it was called Writing for Money. But so I just wanted to learn how I could use something that I love to do to earn some income. And that's where I started. I started with blog posts and emails and things like that. Sort of more of like long form content kind of stuff. And then through that, discovered copywriting. And I took several courses to learn all about copywriting and kind of did a deep dive on marketing and read a bunch of books. So, learned from all the masters, I guess, who put out super helpful information. Um, but yeah, I just spent about a year learning how to do this. Um, and then and then I was ready for a client, but also didn't know how to find a client. Um, so everyone tells you to start, and I did not take their advice. Start with people so you start with your warm leads, but I was a little too nervous, I guess, to let people know what I was doing.
Right.
So instead, I went to platforms like Upwork, and I started getting clients through Upwork. So I'd pitch. I spent a lot of time pitching on Upwork to try to win a little bit of work. But
Right.
that did give me some confidence that I needed to like be like, okay, I can actually do this. Um, and so then that gave me the boost I needed to start actually talking about my career and what I wanted to do with people I actually knew. So anyways, that's how I got started. Um, and I guess does that answer the question?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
Okay.
great. And
Okay.
yeah, I can sympathize with that. The when you're an introvert and you're kind of and you still may have a little bit of that imposter syndrome, you've gotten these skills and everything, but at the same time you're just kind of like, I don't know.
Yes.
What if it doesn't work out or whatever? And you got
Yes.
all these thoughts, but yeah, that really is once you get that confidence boost, and usually that comes from, your first client, your first real work or whatever, things seem to sort of ease up and you're like, oh,
Mhm.
can do this.
That's
So
exactly
that's great. I'm glad to hear it worked out for you.
yeah.
And yeah, that must have taken some patience too, going through that
Yeah.
year's worth of courses on it, and then
Yes.
finding your clients and everything. So
Yes.
kudos
And
to
you
you for
know, you
sticking
could,
through it.
yeah, yes, you could definitely get started a lot faster than I did, but I guess I was just going at a very slow pace to sort of battle that imposter syndrome. It took a lot to get over that.
Oh yeah.
But
And when you start, you don't know what you don't know.
you
So
don't.
you're like,
Mhm.
you may not, you may think, I need to go further and further and further
Mhm.
when, you know, as you just said, like that imposter syndrome, you could have been well
Yeah, I could have started
ready to
a
start,
lot sooner.
a while back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Your meeting.
Oh no.
All right. Got it going again. All right. So, you kind of went over your story and how you got your first few clients. So I know you kind of like mentioned a few challenges, but yeah. So what are some challenges that you went through, in your freelancing journey, and how did you overcome them? I know you had mentioned a few, like the challenge with getting clients initially and everything. Is there anything else? Any other hurdles that you had to get over? Maybe your first
Well,
client and or something like that.
yeah, I mean, so yes, getting over imposter syndrome and just getting started was the hardest part. I definitely have had a learning curve as far as like the deliverables I offer to clients now. I'm much more able to direct the process than I was in the beginning. Like when I started, and most freelancers or many freelancers start this way, just kind of taking orders like, what do you need? Okay, I can do that. I'll go do it, you know.
Right.
Um, so so I was doing a lot of order taking. What do you need? And I'll just go do whatever it is that you say. But I have gotten more ownership in the process, and I'm able to guide that process a little better now
Right.
that I've been doing it longer. And that's just something that comes with, time and honing your craft, if you will, but just learning, how to do the thing that you want to do. So that's definitely been something I've had to overcome. Um, and yes, the fear of putting myself out there, had to overcome that. There's a theme with with me and the struggles that I've had. But it's definitely been worth it. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been very rewarding, and gotten to work with some great people. So it's definitely been worth it. Um, I guess another way that I was able to overcome some of those challenges was finding people that I could work with kind of reliably. So I know I've mentioned to you in the past, but I don't think I've said on the call that right now I'm doing most of my work with just one marketing company. So I can pitch other clients and do the same work for other people, but for now I've got this group of people that I love working with, and they keep bringing me work. And um,
Right.
so I guess having a group of people, whether it's people who have a similar business to you that you can talk about your struggles and kind of work together to figure out, how you can overcome those, or people kind of in roles that help you all deliver one project, like me working with the marketing agency. We all have a different role and work together to get one deliverable to the client. So that has been really helpful as far as like showing me the full process, as opposed to just my writing part. So I guess finding the right people to help you move to the next step is really important.
Oh yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. That's as far as finding that group of people, that's one of the reasons that I have been reaching out. And one of the reasons I initially reached out to you and have started this
Yeah.
show is so that I can kind of learn from everyone, what are the struggles that similar struggles that other people go through? How did they get started? What can I learn from them? What can I learn from you? Um, and like how these different I don't want to say like fields because it's all kind of in the same field, but I guess
Mhm.
how these different pieces kind of fit together in the
Sure.
whole process,
Sure.
which is good for, even improving just your own craft because then okay, who's the next one down the line who's going to have to work with my deliverable. So what they have to deal with, and so excuse me, what they have to deal with. So it kind of like affects your work that way. And then there's better communication that goes on between you and the rest of the team. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's good. I agree with that completely. All right, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So next question we got here: where do you see yourself going with your business in the future, or where would you like for it to go?
That's a great question. Well, I would like to continue doing the same work that I'm doing. Of course, I want to um, grow my business, and of course, just like we all do, want to make more money, and so of course, I am looking ahead to try to I still want to offer the same services. So it's about finding clients who are financially a better fit for, what I need to charge. But, it comes, you have to do that incrementally. So right now I'm working on serving the clients I have the very best that I can, and getting some testimonials for myself. So I guess I have a little bit of the problem of, the cobbler's children have no shoes, just not really having all the messaging ironed out for my own business. I did it a while ago, and now it's time for a refresh. It's time for me to refresh my website. It's time for me to really get out on social media and start talking about what I'm
Right.
doing. And so those are things that scare me a little, but I know that's the next step in my business. And so that's what I'm looking forward to working on in 2025. So
All right, nice. And I can relate to that,
yeah.
uh putting so much more effort into, your clients' work
Mhm.
rather than your own.
Yes,
That that's
exactly.
something I've had to just this past few weeks. I've been hammering down on like revising my own website and everything, making sure everything's like good. So I'm like, okay,
Nice.
because for one, it represents what you are capable of doing to others that see, your site. You've got good web copy on
Mhm.
your site or on your portfolio and everything, then they say, oh, yeah, this is good. And so it kind of like get is in the messaging and everything. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can relate to that. That's something I've had to change in uh my approach as well, is really focus on getting my messaging fixed up and then getting out there as well.
Yeah. A lot of it is just showing up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. Well, that's great to hear. It seems like a lot of us, especially I guess it may just be us introverts, but I guess a lot of us freelancers in this field, it seems like kind of have very similar struggles starting out. So,
Mhm. Absolutely. It's hard to
but
get
it's
started.
always good, and part of one of what I want to put out there through this show and everything, and that's good, is that showing that, hey, it can be overcame.
Right.
There's always a way to overcome these challenges.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. Well, we're starting to get towards the end here. I do have one more question here.
Okay.
I mean, of course, I'll put the links down in the description, but yeah, where would people be able to find your stuff, your
Yeah.
portfolio and everything, in case someone may be looking to hire you for some work that they have or learn more about what you do?
Yeah, sounds good. So you can find me at mandydavenport.com. That's my website. And I'm also on LinkedIn as Mandy Davenport. And I'm working on my Instagram right now. It's just personal. So eventually that'll be the next thing that I work on, but at Mandy B. Davenport. So yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody who's interested in messaging, copywriting, or um, yeah, anything marketing related. I'd love to chat.
All right. That sounds awesome. And of course, all of those, like I had said, will also be in the description in the video. So you can go there and check out her stuff and everything. And with that, we'll call this one done. I appreciate you coming on here and talking. Thank you, Mandy.
Thanks for having me.
And you have a good rest of your day.
You.
And we'll chat again soon.
Sounds good.